Okay, this lecture is where the fun starts. You've been very patient so far, and now we can really dive into things. This lecture is where we start to talk about the tools in the toolbar and how they work, and specifically we're going to talk about the 5 most important tools in the toolbar. So, the toolbar, if you recall, is this guy over here, and there are so many valuable uses for this toolbar. But we're going to talk about 5 specific tools. The first one is the Move tool right here. This allows you to grab objects within your image and move them, drag them out of your image and into other images, rearrange them, etc. We're going to talk about the selection tools, which these are actually all selection tools, but specifically we're going to talk about the quick selection tool, which is just sort of the crown jewel of the selection tools. We'll talk about more selection tools later, but selection tools allow you to actually select or highlight a part of your image so that you can then work specifically on that part of the image. So if I wanted to say brighten or darken this blue sky, I could select this sky, work only on it without affecting the rest of my image, and I'm able to do that because of these selection tools. We're going to look at the crop tool. It's a really simple but hugely valuable tool that just allows you to change the size and shape of your image, like that. Okay, I'm not going to crop that today, so I'm going to undo that. But the crop tool is awesome and valuable, especially if you're doing like social media images, if you need, say, like a square profile picture for YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Crop tool makes that really easy. We're going to learn about the brush tool, which is right here. And the brush tool is just what it sounds like. It's a brush, and it allows you to do brushing on your image, but it's so much more than that. To be honest, I don't use it like this very often, just to like brush and make a mess of my image. But you can use it for changing the color of things. You can use it for lightening and darkening different areas. You can use it for adding shadows, and you can use it with layer masks, which we'll talk about later, for basically just highlighting a certain part of your image that you want to work on, similar to selections, but the brush can be very valuable. And this will all make sense later, but the brush is super valuable in so many ways. Now, before I go into the next tool, I'm going to hit, here's your shortcut key for the day, Control-Alt-Z. That allows me to step backward in my work and go back and undo what I've done. That's Control-Alt-Z on a PC, Command-Option-Z on a Mac. And if you have an older version, it might just be Control-Z for you. On newer versions, Control-Z will toggle between the last 2 actions like this. If you want to keep going back, you have to hit Control-Alt-Z to continue to go back like that. Okay? And then the final tool, which we've actually already talked about, is the healing brush tool. And this one, as you saw in the blemish lecture, just allows you to go in and simply click on things. And you know what I'll do is I'll practice our keystrokes from the last lecture. I'll press Z for zoom, click a few times to zoom in. The healing brush tool, as you can see, because the hand is H, the healing brush tool is J. So I'll hit J to practice my keystrokes. And then I can work in this area. Ooh, one additional keystroke I'll teach you. See how my tool is too big for this area? If you hit the square brackets, they're right next to the P key on your keyboard. 2 square brackets that face each other, 2 separate keys. If you hit the left square bracket, it will make your tool smaller. If you hit the right square bracket, it'll make your tool bigger. And this works for every tool, like the brush tool, the clone stamp tool, etc. But you make this smaller so it kind of fits, and then you can just go click, buy horses or cows or sheep, whatever you are. All right, and then I want to get back to full screen. I hit Control-0, that puts me at full screen. All those animals except for that one lonely guy in the back are gone. Okay, so that's just a brief overview of the tools. I encourage you to go in and click on them or better yet, hover over them, see what the shortcut is. The move tool is a V, so you hit V on your keyboard. The move tool you won't be able to do anything with yet until we get into subsequent lectures, but you can go in with the quick selection tool, select that's W, or you can click it and then go in and click and see what it does. Okay, so play around with those just to get familiar, and in the next few lectures I'm going to go into each one of these tools in detail. Okay, I'll see you in the next lecture.